Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed. Today's a unique one. Before we go into our usual topic, Josh isn't here. It's very sad. But as we discussed last week, he realised we're not doing Black Flag anymore and he's jumped ship. Okay, I jest, he hasn't. He's celebrating Father's Day with a surprise with his dad, so if he's listening to this episode, I hope he has a wonderful day with his dad tomorrow. And that actually turns nicely into today's episode, which is Rogue, because we have a man who turns towards a father figure, one who is understanding, and takes him in instead of the Creed, which is meant to be a brotherhood. So he's gone from a brotherhood to a father of understanding into a new family of Templars. So, how today's is going to work, because I'm really missing Josh already. He's such a great person to do back and forward with. I've got 5 points he's sent me about Rogue. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a typical back and forward. I'll read the notes and I'll respond. If it doesn't work, I'm blaming my notes. It's not me, it's my notes. So let's jump in. We'll jump in with point 1, which is how we saw Rogue. For me, Rogue was a fresh breath of air. Fresh breath of air. Can't even get my words out. In the show already, we've had assassins that are born into greatness, others that had greatness thrust upon them, and then you had Edward, which just did it for all the fame and glory, and then evolved into the Brotherhood. Here we have a new setting. We have a man in the Creed already, in his prime of the Brotherhood, witnessing the true nature of the Creed when it comes to the Peace of Eden, and how they'll do anything to secure them away from Templars, even if it costs innocent lives. And he turns his back on his brothers and goes towards the Templars. And I thought it was a really unique spin on the series. A good one, yes. One without flaws? No. This game is flawed. And Josh has said to me, I always saw Rogue as Black Flag too. It's a great extension of the formula laid out in Black Flag. The things that make this game fun are what made Black Flag fun. Naval combat, exploring outposts and island villages, plundering ships for upgrades. And that's one of the flaws. It was just DLC for Black Flag, and that's not me trying to be overly negative, because I would encourage people to play this game. I think it's more for the fine fact of it was created as a filler. This was done by a small studio, Sophia, and it was just that last breath of fresh air for PS3 and Xbox 360 before their big blowout on PS4. And I think that damaged it, because it felt like they didn't put enough care into one last bow on current gen. And I think if they did that one last bow, it could have been amazing. I hands down will defend Rogue as being a game that could have been 10 times more than what it was. The missions themselves, I didn't mind. They were a bit samey from what we had, but it was kind of an intriguing twist to see a new direction of the Brotherhood, be more involved with the Templars, and I kind of like that. I kind of like replaying a game in new light. You're seeing the world from new eyes, and it makes the universe more immersive and diverse. And Josh has put, the main missions are remarkable and the cutscenes are tedious. It's a double-edged sword. You spend time thinking about doing a main mission, then realise that you're having too much fun not doing them. Now, I will have to slightly disagree on this point, in the sense of I see where he's coming from, but for me, I did find sometimes the world a bit lacking compared to Black Flag, so I was really more eager to do the main missions and watch the story unfolded, because I wanted to see how they're going to handle it. Now, I do think they're not perfect and they're not the best thing going. It's not like a story that you can like, this is amazing. It is, to use his word, it is an unremarkable story at times. But I think on my personal bit, I was more invested in the story than the world because I felt the story had more to offer. But what you're saying is true. Some of the cutscenes did feel a bit tedious, and the missions did feel a bit edgy. But again, I think this is because it was created as that last console gen game. If it was a big blowout, then it could have been amazing. If it was something, if they put all the resources they could into it, and then expand more time on Unity, Unity could have been better prepared, and Rogue could have been more fleshed out. And to follow up with that, Josh, as well, Ubisoft seemed far too happy to make Black Flag 2 as opposed to trying anything new, which was frustrating for me. It was the first time Ubisoft didn't show any ambition and desire to adapt and improvise with new things. And I can see where he's coming from because I don't want to knock too hard on Rogue because what they did try and do was really good, but there's just not enough of it. And it was like a DLC, and sometimes DLCs aren't bad, you know, you got some really great ones, but I wanted Rogue to be more, and I'm worried, and I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but it's a fair one. I'm worried for Assassin's Creed to come, and the reason I'm saying that is we got Black Flag, we got Rogue, then we jumped ship to next gen with Unity, and at this moment in time we're getting Valhalla, which is PS4, PS5, but then are they going to jump ship to next gen and do a Unity style, or are they going to give a one last bow to PS4 and Xbox One with a filler like Rogue? And does that mean they may not put as much care and attention into the filler as they did with Rogue? And I really feel bad that I feel like we're coming off overly negative on the game, and I think it's because it's one of those games that could have been more. It's not bad as in don't play it, throw it in the bin, it's trash. It's bad as in there's not enough in it. That's my take. And sadly Josh isn't here to give me his full take. But I do think it's a great side to the series we've never seen, and I think they should do more. Because Shay's character, for me, was engaging. I really loved Shay. I didn't like the world as much, and I didn't like some of the plot in the story, but I loved Shay. Shay was amazing, and Josh has put really engaging character story. Starts as an assassin and becomes delusional with her ways and switches sides. Shay always seemed to have a sympathetic motivation, and his story was more nuanced than I was expecting, and it was really engaging character development. And I think that's also a sad thing about Rogue because Shay was amazing. I'm gonna praise Shay because I like Shay. He's Irish, I'm half Irish. Maybe we can have something in common, I don't know. But that didn't help. He was the shining beacon of hope in a world that could have been more. And I don't know, I want more of Rogue. I'm gonna replay it, like hands down, because Assassin, Hunting, Templar. Who can give that a miss? Come on, like I would advise if anyone hasn't played it, buy the remaster, try it out, make your own opinion. But it does feel shorter than what we wanted, and it is a bit of a negative, but maybe it's a good thing seeing how big Unity was in a new direction. But that's something for next week. Sorry, just catching up on my notes. It's like a teleprompter. Sorry about that. Josh has put, Rogue, however, feels deceptive. The world appears to be generous, but it's really not. Lots on the map, but most of it's not necessary. Lot of it is not necessary. Sorry about that, guys. I have dyslexia and I can't even read my own copy and pasted notes. Light ship grades are enough to complete the game. No benefit to hunting, and no significant payoffs to explorations. Unlike AC games of old, this is a world that doesn't reward curiosity, and that was extremely disappointing. I do get where he's coming from, and I really do, and it's such a shame he's not used his infamous quote, risk and reward. There was no risk to ditching the main. There was the risk of ditching the main story to explore, but there was no reward for it. There was no to go into hunting. There was no risk to the hunt, and there was going to be a reward from it. He will kill me saying I'm butchering this saying, but he's not here. I'm going to get in so much trouble when he comes back. But he has a point. I explored the world of Rogue, and I was intrigued by it. Don't get me wrong. I love the setting. I love the naval. But I didn't feel there was too much to do, and I'm going to replay it again to give it a new fresh of eyes because I haven't played it this week. I've just been busy writing scripts for future shows. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent again. That's why Josh needs to be here. He keeps me in line. But the world of Rogue, it just keeps coming back to should have been more. It could have been something else. It could have been bigger, badder. Could you imagine if they took all that time and care and unity to create a last bow out to old Jen, and then a couple months more on Unity, then Unity may never had a buggy fix, and you would have got this amazing story. But the biggest downside of Rogue that I have not talked much about is the ending. And spoilers if you've not completed it, but the ending, you see Shay Cormac going to Paris at the start of Unity, killing Arno's father, therefore setting up the chain of events in Unity, which is why I found this episode important to put in, even though I was going to gloss over it because it's a small game, and this is why this episode is shorter than normal, but I had to put it in because it sets up the storyline for Unity. And a lot of people that I spoke to have never played Rogue till the remaster because they wanted to go straight to next gen. And when you play Unity, you see Arno's father fall. You know, it's a bit, you don't know why. I didn't know why at first, but it set everything up. And then I played Rogue Remastered, and I remembered the ending to Rogue. I was like, oh, hang on a minute. Now it connects. And now I understood the ending of Rogue more. And a friend of mine, I can't remember say his name, he asked me to explain the start of Unity for him. So I said, go play Rogue Remaster. And he had mixed feelings on it, as we all do. But he was disappointed on how Shay starts Unity's departure with how Arno lost his father. But Ubisoft just seemed to add it and then gloss it over. They could have started Unity with the ending of Rogue. And sadly, I don't think there's more we can talk about Rogue. I'm on my own, so I can't really natter on too much. But Rogue is small, and I did say last week, this week was going to be a small episode because Rogue is a small game. And I'll do my scores first, and then we'll read Josh's. I give it a 3.5. It does have a lot of not plot holes, world pitfalls. It just feels DLC. But oh my god, Shay's character is amazing. I'm never gonna let that down. I love the idea of Assassin to Templar. I want more. You know, I'm a big AC fan to the heart, but I want more. And I want more nuance to the series. You know, we had Bayek, not an assassin, turned assassin. We had Cassandra, which I'm not going to say anything more because I'm leaving it. But you know, the two nuanced style characters that impacted the series in new ways that we never clicked onto when they're being discussed is what I meant by that. So fantastic for what they tried. Could have been more, and it was too much of a last-ditch attempt. It should have been a big blowout. Josh has put a 3 out of 5. It's a fun game and enjoyable, however, never wanted to replay it. It was too small and lacked any real ambition or series development. It was a disappointing moment in the AC timeline in terms of game development. I think it's kind of sad to hear that, but the game does come off as a DLC, and I think it's sad to use the words DLC for a sort of mainline game. So that's all we've got time for this week. Sorry again it's short. Next week will be Unity, and I'm going to be talking praise for Unity. I understand there's bugs. There's a lot of bugs. You need bug spray for that game, but it is amazing for what it got right. But stay tuned for next week for that, and I will see you all next week.